This program is brought to you by Community Trust Bank, Medical City, Bid Select, and the Neely School of Business at TCU. Welcome to Platforms, the life-lifting news program for women. Now, here's your host, Shivaun Palmer.
Welcome back, everybody, to Platforms, a life-lifting news program for women. I'm delighted to introduce our next guest. This lovely lady is Leonia Nkuruh, and she is the president and founder of Premier Titles. And Leonia hails from the country of Rwanda. She's one of the students here taking the Peace Through Business program for 2010, which is sponsored by the Institute for the Economic Empowerment of Women. Leonia, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. Okay, now you returned to Rwanda 7 years ago after living as a refugee in Uganda. So tell me the background. What happened that you had to flee your country?
Okay, in 1959, there was a civil war in my country, and there was two ethnic groups, Hutus and Tutsis. And basically, the Hutus, who were the majority, decided they didn't want us there and threw us out of the country. My father and my mother and all my sisters and brothers went to Uganda because of that.
How did you flee the country when you said they threw you out? So you were the other tribe and they told you to leave the country?
They didn't tell us, they fought us. They burnt our houses, they killed people, so you had to flee. Yeah, you had to flee. And we went to Rwanda. And we started at zero, from having so much to nothing.
What was your life like in Rwanda before you had to flee the country?
I was born in Uganda, so I don't know much, but what I know is my father really was well off.
He's a wealthy man?
Yeah, he was a wealthy man, he had everything. But when we went to Uganda, we started at zero. My mother, who had maids for everybody, had to start learning how to cook, how to cultivate the garden, to make food for us and everything. So it wasn't very easy for her and for the family.
So where did you live in Uganda?
We lived in so many places. We lived from one refugee camp to another and settled in one of them in Barara. Yeah.
How did the genocide impact your family? Did you lose, I'm sure you lost family and friends in the genocide?
We lost. Because we were in Uganda, it didn't affect us very much as a family. But we had uncles, aunties, cousins who were still in Rwanda, and they were all killed. I think we are left with only one cousin.
One cousin?
Yes, out of a family of about 50 people.
You know, it's so hard for people to even imagine the horrific violence that went on there. So women, children, everybody were victims of this terrible genocide.
Everyone, and babies too.
Good Lord.
And babies too.
Okay, so you come back from your refugee status, and when did you decide it was safe to come back to Rwanda?
From 1994, it was actually okay. There were little fights here and there, but my husband and I were in Namibia. My husband was working in Namibia. And we stayed there, and he was called to come and work with the government in 2001. And I joined him in 2002.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you're definitely an entrepreneur. You decided to work for yourself, and with the full support of your husband, you started a company called Premier Titles, which is a construction material business. How is a beautiful young lady, did you have background in construction or what?
Absolutely not. My background was administration. I worked in different companies, IMF, World Bank, UNESCO, in administration. But when we came back, I saw there was an opportunity.
There was devastation and rebuilding effort. Okay.
The country was under construction. Many buildings were coming up and everything, and I said, wow, why don't I work for myself? I can do this. And my husband and I had some savings. So we put some money together and started the business. That was 7 years ago. 7 years ago.
How many employees do you have now?
I have 4.
4 employees. So essentially do you ship the building materials all over the country, or who takes advantage of your services?
Oh, okay. First of all, I import all my tiles.
Now you
from
import
India,
all your tiles, okay.
China and Egypt. Then I am one of the distributors of cement in Kigali, that's the capital of Rwanda, and I also have paint. So I sell those 3 entities of construction. Now everyone from an individual constructor to companies that do construction come and buy things from me.
Let's talk, going back to how women are impacting the economy of Rwanda. Many women are taking over positions of power and becoming entrepreneurs and so forth, because many of the men died, frankly, in the genocide. So how's that changing the culture of your country?
One thing is that we are so blessed to have a president we have today. We have 51% representation in Parliament. That's fantastic.
51%.
I
so you've got the majority in Parliament.
In the whole world. And we actually, women have always been primary caretakers in my country. And this genocide didn't do a service, or the men died, so you had to do something now. I think about 78% of women are either in business or taking care of their families.
78%? About
78% or more, if not more.
What is the current structure of the government in Rwanda?
Current structure, we have Senate, we have Parliament, we have ministers and the president, so the structure is the same like anywhere else, I imagine, in government, but our governance is fantastic because there's so many changes that have happened in the country.
Tell us the positive changes.
The positive changes? Well, gender representation, that stands at 51%. That's one of them. The infrastructure has changed completely. Right now, we are laying cables underground.
You're laying underground cables
yes,
for?
So that we can be IT savvy. We have banks that have come in, we have investors that are coming in from all over the world, and most importantly, we are reconciling between ourselves, because the genocide happened because of two people who didn't agree with each other. But when we came, there was no revenge. We have decided to live together as one people, and there's reconciliation going on, that we live as a people, not as a division. And that is very, very good. So
this is ongoing conversation between the two tribes to ensure that this will never happen again?
Actually, it's not a tribe. It's just a little difference of, I don't know what you can call it, but they're not tribes.
Yeah, so religion sometimes can cause a lot of problems more than anything. Let's talk about your passion for women and girls issues. Do you have any children, any daughters?
Yes, I have 2 daughters and 1 son.
So you, the women that are going to university today in Rwanda and contributing back to the country, are you able to maintain a lot of the workforce, keep them in Rwanda once they graduate from university?
I think the majority are able to get jobs right now, and there's creation of jobs, because one of the important issues that our government is doing today is encourage investors to come into the country. The investors are coming and they are creating jobs.
What countries are taking the lead in terms of investment in Rwanda right now?
We have China.
China's a big one.
Yes, we have America, we have England, and Germany. I think those are the top 3.
That's beautiful.
Yes.
We're going to go to break in just a moment. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Shivaun Palmer with Platforms, the life-lifting news program for women. We'll be back in a moment.